We are going to talk to you today about the Kahr CM9. I bought this pistol for Kirsten for Christmas this year, and we've had a little bit of experience with it. How much do you think we've shot it?
I'd say probably about 50 to 100 rounds. Closer to 100 probably.
Yeah, we took it to the range one time with us so far, and put about 100 rounds through it. We did put some hollow points through it, so it cycled those. But we just wanted to talk to you a little bit about what we really think about this pistol. It's a single stack 9mm, very thin compared to my Glock 26, which is one of my carry guns. When I'm not saying that I carry multiple guns at the same time, but depending on whether it is much thinner. From the backside, you can kind of see how the double stack grip looks compared to the single stack grip, and this holds 6+1, so it holds enough rounds. I would say for any self-defense situation, likely. If you need to, you can carry another magazine. However, Kahr does not send another magazine with the gun. You want to talk about what you like about this?
Yeah, sure. So, with the Kahr, I really like how pretty it is. The trigger pull is something that it's kind of like a hit or miss for me. Like, realistically, I'm not a huge fan of the trigger pull. It takes quite a while for it to break. Like, you really have to pull. In some situations, I think that's really good, but at the same time, like when I'm at the range shooting and I'm flinching like every time, I mean, this is a new gun for me. But like I said, kind of a hit or miss, very preference based. Like if you like those long trigger pulls, that's good for you. It's very small and compact. I mean, compared to a lot of other guns, and it's like decent, right? But yeah, I don't have my concealed carry just yet, but when I do, this will definitely be the gun that I'm carrying versus the Glock 5mm. Just kidding.
That's the 19.
19. Close enough. But anyways, yeah, it's a nice small gun. It shoots really well. It's got a good kick to it. Like I said, the trigger pull, not necessarily my favorite thing about it, but you know, it's really preference based on what you like. But yeah, nice small gun, shoots well, it's fun, and pretty.
Yeah. The trigger pull is really smooth. It's quite easy to get that back, but it does break pretty far back. So if you can see, we're going, click. So it's a pocket gun. So that is the safety. The trigger pull, the length is the safety. It's like that on a lot of revolvers, a lot of double action only revolvers, shrouded hammers, but it can be a little discerning when you're at the range. I think maybe with a little bit more experience, it might become more second nature. I'd assume a lot of people who are watching this would say, yeah, just shoot it more. But compared to the Glock 26, to the Glock 19, Glock 26, which I can also conceal, I don't put it in my pocket, but I can conceal it. The trigger pull it seems half the length, and that's more comfortable just shooting, and there's less anticipation. But it's kind of like drawing a bow, and you feel like you're pulling forever and your draw length is too long. Probably pretty similar with this pull, but it's good for a pocket. We have a DeSantis Nemesis holster, just slides right in there. Can stand up like it's starched jeans, but you can throw this in a pocket and it's easy to pull it out. This part catches on your pocket and it really slips right out. So
yeah, I tuck this into my jeans and
pulling the waistband, right?
Yeah, on the waistband. No, all the way in, out my butt.
No, I mean like instead
Just
of a
kidding.
pocket, yeah, you can tuck it in the waistband.
Yeah, you tuck it into the jeans, the waistband, and then when you start pulling the gun out, this stays. So that's really handy, and it's not really annoying. It's not uncomfortable. It sticks. It doesn't like feel tough or anything. Like I like this one. This would be nice for a big gun.
Yeah, yeah. If they had these, so they make holsters, a brand called Sticky, which I got for my very first gun, the M&P9 Compact years ago. But it's similar to this without the pocket catch. This is meant to be in the pocket, and then it hits your pocket, and you pull it out. But uh, it's a smooth. It looks the same like a pouch without the pocket catch, but it's smooth. And I always felt a little uncomfortable with it. But with this, you can put it in your waistband, and it feels a bit more comfortable because of all this stifling.
Oh, it's meant for your pocket. I
Yeah,
just stuck it in my pants and it works fine there too.
yeah.
So
So for pants that are too small for, or the pockets are too small to fit this in, which might be females' pants. This could just serve as a protective holster in any situation, just so your gun's not laying out really. But uh, in order, you could just tuck it right into your waistband. But yeah, this is meant to sit in your pocket, and then when it's coming out of the pocket, it catches right there, and this stays in your pocket, and this comes out. So it is a pocket pistol. It's very small, very concealable, at least with the right size pants or in the waistband. But there are a few things that I wasn't too sure about when we got this. So I actually ordered this from Bud's Gun Shop online because I did not see it anywhere locally, and I read good things about it. Um, it was priced really well, especially compared to the Kahr PM9, which is the single stack 9. It looks very similar, just more machining, um, maybe a bit nicer, and some of the parts are made by humans rather than machines. So there's more attention to detail, I'm sure, but this version will save you hundreds of dollars. So if you're just looking to check it out, see what you think about it, the CM9 I would say is a good route to go. But I'll talk to you a little bit about how it came and um, how to take it apart. So it came in this box from Kahr. That was what was at my FFL. It was in here. There was some paperwork, and it was in a plastic bag that was very, very oily. Very oily. Suspect oily. Um, I thought that was pretty strange. I have talked to Buds since then. I had ordered this 3-inch tallow edition 686 Smith & Wesson. Just stop for a second. Take a look at that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I carry now in a pancake holster. But I talked to them because I asked them, I heard things about the 686 in particular years ago having issues with canted barrels. And I said, I don't want you to send it to me if it has a canted barrel. Can you check that beforehand? They said that they do not open any of the boxes. They send it directly. They're just the middleman from the manufacturer. So they get it from the manufacturer. They said they will not open the box. They send it to you, and it's really your responsibility to check it out at the FFL before leaving and accepting the transfer. So when I went there, I was surprised to see this in a plastic bag coated in oil, but it was a task. So I wanted to take it apart and make sure everything looked good before I left, but there was so much oil and the slide was so stiff that I couldn't take it apart there. So I had to accept it as is. I didn't have to, but it was the best idea really for me at the time to accept it as is. And we like it. We do like it. But we've run into a few odd things about it as well since. Do you want to talk to them about that?
ah, yes. I don't know how to open this gun well. But yeah, I've tried breaking it down a couple of times and usually unsuccessful. With the Glock 19, that one is super easy, and that was my first gun, so trying to open this one up, I thought it would be easy, and it wasn't. I'll break it down for you right now, and probably can't see, but there are two lines. There's one on the top part and one on the bottom that you need to match up in order for it to pop apart. And on the back side is this button that you have to push. Um, it's this gun in particular. I'm sure it's just because it's new. I've been doing this nonstop, trying to get it loosened up. But I have a hard time really just trying to get, what is it called?
Get a good grip, take it apart.
And trying to push the button and open it. You can, yeah, I don't want to struggle too much.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, it is very difficult. It was impossible for me to take it apart. When I got it, I was sweating at the FFL trying to take it apart there. If you are considering buying this online, I would highly suggest taking a rag to your FFL so you can wipe it off and attempt to take it apart. Ask them first, ask the FFL, but you may want to try and rack the hell out of the slide and loosen it up. It is kind of a task. It has become a bit easier to take it apart since we took it to the range and shot a few rounds through it. I think just the slide moving in rapid motion helped loosen it up a little bit, but it is still quite a bit of a task. So Kirsten pointed out that you have to match a notch on the slide to a notch on the frame, and when you do that, you push on this button from the side, you can see, and if you're lucky, you'll be able to pull this slide lock, I believe. Witchcraft. You'll be able to pull this out, and this piece, my understanding is that this was made in a machine, and the PM9 is made with humans overwatching the process, or at least paying more attention to the detail. So my understanding is that this piece costs quite a bit to make when humans are involved, and that saves quite a bit of money on this. But anyway, once you pop that out, if you're lucky enough to do that, the first time that I did it, I had to wedge a flathead screwdriver in between this and the frame here to pop it out. It was pretty difficult, but like you saw just now, we put about 100 rounds through it. Kirsten racks the slide a lot. It's a bit easier, but it's still difficult for her. So we've gotten it to this point. Really, it's just pulling the trigger, and it'll release after a certain point. It is kind of tricky. I've had a little bit of trouble just getting that apart, but I think you have to start pushing on the slide and then pull the trigger once you get it a little ways for it to come apart. But do you want to point out what we noticed about the inside?
Yeah, so I might not phrase this correctly. There's this part, the bottom.
Yeah, that's the frame.
The frame. So, like, I don't know if you can tell, this is all plastic, basically. And if you look closely, I mean, I'm not sure you can tell, it's kind of been chewed away. It's, like, kind of ripped apart at the top here. And that's probably from firing it. So basically what you're getting is metal on plastic. Apparently there's metal underneath here somewhere.
Maybe.
Maybe not. But yeah, I mean, like, it's chewed up. And, like, we just got this, and we haven't shot too much through here, and that's a little concerning, right? Because is it going to stop? Is it going to keep chewing away at it? Maybe that's why it's so cheap. Who knows? But, yeah, a little concerning.
Yeah, that part is pretty suspect. I looked on forums online. Apparently it is an issue that other people have had. Some people haven't had it. Some people say that it gets to a certain point of wear and then it stops, and that's normal. I don't think it should be normal for any gun to be chewing up like that. Kind of see it on the back. When it's together, that's when I noticed it. When the gun was together, I saw it on the back. It looked like part of it had been frayed. But when we took it apart, I saw that more of the interior had been chipped away. So I hadn't really realized. You can see obviously that there's metal on the back end, but as far as I know, this is metal on plastic up here, which is a far cry from the quality of something like a Glock, which the just the interior is much nicer. But for the price and for the size, my understanding is that the single stack Glock has, I believe, the slide and the barrel is just as long as the 26. It just has a thinner grip because it's a single stack. And if that's the case, you're saving at least an inch, inch and a half probably on this length of the length of the overall gun here. So it is easy to slide into a pocket, but the inner workings, that's my biggest concern.
Questionable.
Yeah. The trigger pull being really long, that's something I can get used to. The interior ripping apart, I can't get used to that. So we'll see how it goes. We'll report back on that as time goes on to see if it's moved. But if it gets to a certain point, I'm not going to feel comfortable shooting it, and I'm definitely not going to feel comfortable having Kirsten shoot it. So if that's the case, if it wears down to a certain point, it may just be safest in the trash. But we'll see what happens. If we can get out of it with it firing, with it staying working, then we'll just keep it because it's a cool little gun.
It's pretty.
But yeah, could you take the Glock apart real quick and show them the difference? Just for anybody considering, if you haven't purchased a gun before, if you don't have a pistol, and you're thinking about getting one, my first pistol was a Smith & Wesson M&P 9 compact, but I also had I have the extension grip, which I believe makes it a 17 round pistol. I actually haven't pulled it out in quite a while because I have other things more pressing now, but it made it into a full-size grip. And there's nothing quite like learning how to shoot with a full-size gun, in my opinion. Being able to really grip the handle is something to it. But also, if you just want something quality, just check out the interior here. Look at how you can see that's clearly metal on metal. The slide is going to be touching these metal pieces sliding right along. I mean, there's no guessing there. That's metal, slide's metal. I don't need to worry about that frame wearing whatsoever. It's probably close to invincible. This one, however, as we've seen already with 100 shots, I mean, some being hollow points, but that's my biggest concern. The ease of taking it apart for a new shooter. Another thing, if you could show them the spring.
Right. Yeah. So I took this apart very easily. I don't know if you guys noticed, but here's the spring. Pops right out.
Yeah.
Doesn't do much.
That's I'm almost, without even seeing it, I feel like I can say with 100% certainty that the single. So the last video we made, we had to stop because our phone battery started to give out, but also because I was having such trouble putting this car back together. Kind of want to talk to you a little bit more about the difficulties we had and how hard it was to take back apart.
Yeah, and the new problem we ran into with the spring.
Yeah, so we had some interesting things happen with the spring. And really quick, with the end of the last video there, I was talking about the single stack Glock, and I said I would bet, without seeing one, that the single stack Glock would still have these metal frames. So that's kind of going to lead into more of this, the rest of this video's discussion about what we've recently learned about this, not at the range. So we were talking about the spring when we took off last, so I'll take this one out and then I'll mention the issues we had. So we had Kirsten taking out her spring from the Glock just so you could see how those look. That's the same in my 26, which is a smaller 9mm, and then the Kahr's is a little bit different, so it doesn't stay coiled. When you take it apart, the spring kind of it uncoils, it unwinds. And this makes it a little difficult to put back together. And as we learned during the last video that ended up getting cut out because of the battery, putting this back together is quite a task, and it got a little disturbing at points. So
I feel like it's gonna come flying out and hit me in the face.
Yeah, she feels like it's gonna fly out. Putting it back in here after you fire the gun a handful of times, the spring seems to loosen a bit. You can kind of figure out a way to do it. But the issue we had when we were putting the slide back onto the frame, we had part of this coil coming out through here. So when I was trying to pull the frame back, I noticed part of the spring sticking out of the front. And we actually had to get a corkscrew.
Oh yeah, we used the knife part on the bottle opener, and luckily that worked. We just pushed it. So like you said, it was like sticking out of, like, you know, right below here. It was just weird. Like, it was like up so far, like sticking out, that like obviously it's in there pretty tight, so like trying to stick your finger in there and getting it to go in was not gonna work. So I don't know if anyone else has ever had that problem. I'm curious to see if anyone has any sort of solution they have to it, because like I said, we just used the knife on like a corkscrew to try and luckily it worked. We thought the gun was done for.
Yeah, I was getting really frustrated and really disheartened, and I actually took me quite a while to realize that it was the spring sticking through there that was keeping it from the gun from locking back into place. So yeah, this is our first time taking it back apart since we put it back together. It felt like it was brand new again. It was really difficult for me to break the gun back down today. But also just a little hesitant and worried about putting it back together, I guess. But yeah, I think that it really weighed into my ultimate decision. We actually tried filming this. We made it all the way through, and at the end, I was saying that it was a good one, worth picking up, fun to shoot. It is still fun to shoot, but I'm a little bit unnerved or unsettled about some of the issues that we've run into, some of the chewing on the plastic.
Yeah, I mean, like, even after that issue with the spring and it all of a sudden being even more tough to pull apart, me personally, like, I just kind of, I mean, again, I like the gun, but like, I can't even take it apart myself anymore. So I don't know if that maybe was just the issue we had with the spring and something with the gun, but hopefully we plan on going shooting tomorrow, so hopefully we get the chance to shoot it a couple of times and see if it loosens up again. So maybe the spring just did something to the gun getting stuck like that, that it, I don't know. I couldn't even tell you. I have no idea. But
Yeah. I mean, as long as everything's in place, it should shoot fine. But if it's going to continue to be so difficult to take apart, non-user friendly, especially for Kirsten's gun, especially for Kirsten's concealed gun. We're having problems with it when it's not firing. The last thing I'd want is to have problems with it while it is firing. So far, we've seen it shoot reliably, and it has been fun to shoot, but we're worried about the things that have happened when you break it down, when you see that it's getting chewed up, and when you have the difficulty taking it apart and putting it back together. So
very discouraging.
yeah, hopefully this works well and I don't run into the same issues that I did last time. Looks like we're okay this time, so I'll line these up and pop this thing back into place. Hopefully it'll go for me. There we go. That was quite a hassle taking it apart that time, but yeah, I mean, if it continues to work, if we can continue to have fun with it, looks like it might be wanting to come out. Yeah, there we go.
Nice. So the first time was way more tricky.
Yeah, so
since the spring incident.
Right. So. But there you go. I mean, you saw me take it apart. I think I have a love-hate relationship with this.
Yeah.
I really love it. I think it's super cool. I think the single stack 9, it's so thin. It's so much smaller than my Glock. It's nearly the same size or so as this J-frame airweight, but it's a 9mm instead of a 38 special, so it's got that extra power. But man, it's a pain in the ass too.
Yeah, I mean, I would carry the gun. I would use the gun. I shoot the gun and everything. Just taking it apart, I think I would definitely need some assistance with that. Unless over time it loosens up, breaking it down, which is something we'll keep everyone posted. But for the meantime, yeah, it's like Eli said, kind of a love-hate relationship with the gun. But I do like my Glock.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a first gun, just do your research. Or if you're looking for this gun, the Kahr CM9, do your research. Look around, see what people think. See what else is out there. Weigh your options, and if you get a chance to shoot one, definitely shoot one. And we'll keep you posted on how it holds up. Hopefully that was just a minor scare, but I like it. This one more thing I'll point out here, these sights are really cool. I like that too, so pretty easy for your eyes to lock on to, but it's got its hits, it's got its misses, but we'll keep you posted on it. And yeah, look around. Thanks for stopping by.
Okay.
Do you want to end it with something cooler?
Like what?
Like an explosion?
Yeah.
Or a pot pie?
An explosion would be good if you could add that.
I wonder if I could. Or we could just have a picture of a pot pie at the end.
Yeah, that would be good too. This is what we did today.
Yeah, we're gonna make a pot pie, and then I'll put it in. Okay.